So you guys just seen my Masquerade Demon, I guess I'm gonna call it. Applying foundation today in shade 091 Light Ivory by RImmel. This is their 25-hour wear. I will be mixing that foundation with just two colors of the cream makeup. I'm using white and this is an icy blue, going for that dead look. So what I do is just get an old plate and I mix the foundation and these colors together, and then I'll add more white as needed, and I will just be applying that all over my face. And I'm using just my Real Techniques Beauty Blender like sponge to stipple that on. Boom, I'm dead. So next I'm going to be setting that with my Nye Super White. I am using a flat top kabuki brush to set this. You can use a powder puff or anything, but you want to make sure when you set you are pouncing, you're not wiping, because you don't want to move any of that foundation that you just put on. Another thing with this look, because I'm doing the lace mask, I don't really need to heavily do eye makeup. I'm going to do just a really quick eye, because when I apply it, I can see through it, and in the light you can see through it. So I want to have some kind of eye look going on, but it doesn't have to be perfect because I'm covering it, so I'm just going to do a really quick one. Alright, so using shade I'm Into It by MAC, it is a very dark like wine burgundy shade. I'm just going to start applying that all around my eye, and you want to go pretty far down with that. Really want to focus that color. Want to get it pretty dark around the inner and outer corners of the eye, and then just lightly blend that all around, and I want to kind of bring it down into a triangle shape. So the reason I like to go in with that burgundy shade first is because you're laying it over white. If you went straight in with the red, it's just going to look too pink. Alright, so using my Morphe 35C palette, I'm going to go in with this red color right here, and just apply that in the crease. And bring it down around the bottom of the eye. And we're not going to go as far out with this color as we did with the purple, but we are going to go pretty low. So again, I'm going to start with that dark burgundy shade. I'm using a stiffer brush for this, and it's okay if it goes on blotchy because we're just covering it with blood later. It's mainly so we just want to get that depth in there on our lips. And taking that fluffy brush, I'm just going to blend that in. Alright, and using that red from that Morphe palette again, I'm just going to add some depth color to that. Going in and adding just a tiny bit of what's left on my brush right to the hollows of my cheeks. And because I want this to be more, not so red, I'm going to be using that Tartelette in Bloom palette and picking up a little bit of this Leader color, which is more of a plummy shade. Going in with shade Activist from that same Tarte palette, it is a very, very dark brown, and I'm just going to trace the outer, well, the top edge of this contour here, starting at the back, and I want to focus most of it right back here. Got a very fine tip brush for this. And then I'm going to take a shader brush and just blend that out right into that red. Going in with a little bit more of that red and bringing that line down a little bit further. Just drag those two colors down, blend it out. Alright, using a matte black, I'm going to pat that right along the lash line to darken up the eye, and I'm also going to add it right inside the inner part of my lip area. And once you pack that on, you just want to take your fluffy blending brush, it's okay if there's red left on it, and just kind of blend out those edges a little bit. I'm just doing a super quick eyebrow. It's not really going to show, but I don't want it being all crazy under there. So again, because you're wearing the lace, it's totally up to you if you want to line your inner rim. I am going to go ahead and darken it up though. Now I'm going to take a fine pointed brush and I'm going to be using, if this is a cream based product, this is from the Mehron Pro Color Ring and it's the Bruise wheel that I'm going to be using to just lightly draw veins. With veining, you want to have a really light hand and not be perfect. Veins aren't perfect, you don't want them to be perfect. But they are going to fade down into the look that shows, so it's good practice for you, because if you mess up around here, nobody will see it. Start at the mouth and go up, and if you can see some of your own veins peeking through, follow them. Now, I know it might seem silly that I'm focusing all this work when you're just going to cover it up with lace, but you guys might not want to cover it up with lace, so this is how you would do it. So any areas that you think the veins are a little bit too bold, just take whatever's left on your beauty blender and tap them out a little bit. I'm going to take a little bit of that red that's left on my brush and just lightly push it right there in the temple area and around the top of the head. I'm going over all of the veining with just some clear translucent setting powder. Taking our lace, going to see how you can see through the lace. So it's not all in vein, but I'm going to take and place this where I want. And once I get it set where I want, I'm going to take a little bit of liquid latex and dab it right underneath and just press that down so that I can pull it tight and it will stay all night and I don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to do that off camera because I have to be able to see what I am doing. When you're applying the lace, if you start down here and really paste that down to your face contours, then you can come up here and you can pull the top up, and what that does is pulls this tight so it stays away from your eyelashes. So I can open and close my eyelashes without them hitting. Now that I've got the lace on, I actually just tie it around the back of my head. I'm going to be putting on my wig. Alright, so of course you were free to stop here. I would never stop here. I need blood. I need blood! I'm going to be using two different types of blood. One is Nye Fresh Scab Blood, and the other by Mehron. This is Stage Blood. This is a syrup-based blood. The liquid blood that's very runny, vampire blood it's called a lot, that's really nice to get the drips down your face, but I don't like the way it dries. It cracks and it's too bright. I don't like it. It doesn't look realistic, so I don't use that very often. Whatever blood you choose, if you put a little bit of Vaseline over the top of it, it will help it from drying out. So I'm going to take a spatula, just the little metal spatula, and apply that. I don't want to get this in the mouth, but I do want it pretty close to the mouth. And I'm just going to start dabbing that along this outer edge here. So you can see this gives it a very nice texture. The scab blood is very thick and it stays raised, so it doesn't flatten against your skin, so you get that really nice meaty blood texture. So this is I wear wigs a lot just when I want to change my hair color, so this is one of my regular wigs, so I'm trying to be very careful to not get it on my wig because it is messy. I recommend getting a disposable wig for this look, one that you don't care about. Alright, so I'm done with the scab blood, and now I'm going to be going in with the Mehron Stage Blood. This stuff is very sticky. I'm using the pointed end of the spatula, and I'm just dipping it in the Stage Blood, and I'm going to let it go where it wants. This blood does not dry, so it's really good for keeping that moist blood look. And this particular one says it is safe to get in the mouth because you can use it for blood capsules. So I am going to put that just along the inner edge of my lip. So I was watching ellimorph, Max. I will link it down below in the comments bar, but they have a tutorial that I will link that will show you how to make these teeth. I forgot to add, when doing this look, you want to add some veining down your neck. So I went ahead and did that.